Hi, everyone. My name is Nick. I am the founder of BizFlow AI Solutions, where we increase your close rate, your pipeline efficiency, and provide clarity on lead attribution by using AI and automated systems. Today, I'm going to go into a no-show flow automation. So essentially, this is what's going to happen when a client books a call, but they don't show up and some follow-up emails are sent. So without further ado, I'll hop right into it and show you how to set up this automation. So a brief overview. First, it's going to pull from your CRM. I use Google Sheets, a tagged customer, and it's going to search that tag and see whether or not they are a no-show. So if they are a no-show, it will go ahead and send them an email. And once that happens, it's going to go ahead and store that data in a data store. I'll go briefly into why it's storing the data a little bit later. Just know for now it's going to store that data and it's going to send it over to a separate automation. So this is step 2 of the no-show flow. It's going to pull that information that it gathered from your CRM. It's going to then search your CRM to make sure that client is either still a no-show or they went ahead and booked a call. If they're not a no-show, it'll go ahead and send them a follow-up email and then delete that data that is stored. If they've already booked a call, it can delete that store just to clean it up for other prospects that are also not showing up. So now I will go ahead and get into the details of this automation. So I'm going to head over to scenarios and start a new scenario just to start it off clean, and you can see every single step. All right. So this is where you will input your CRM. For me, this is going to be Google Sheets. We'll search up Google Sheets. And then we're going to watch changes for that sheet. So with this, we'll need to create a webhook. So I'm going to click Add Webhook. And then we'll just call this Sheet Example Hook. I can't spell, but that'll do. Cool. And then now we're going to want to copy this webhook. And then now I'm going to go over to my Google Sheets CRM and then go over to extensions. And if you don't already have this add-on, you can go to add-ons, get add-ons, and you're going to want to search for Make for Google Sheets. So since I already have it, I'm going to click Settings. It's going to bring up this sidebar on the right side. And then you can go ahead and paste that webhook link right in this box and hit Save. All right. Now back to here. Now that we have that set up, we can go ahead and essentially we're going to want to search for where it says no-show within our CRM. So you're going to head back here, and then what we're going to want to go in Google Sheets and going to want to get range values. And then now we just want to find the exact Google Sheet that we're looking for, and then the page on that sheet. So it's not a shared drive, it's shared with me. I have 2 accounts, so that's why it's shared. AI Solution CRM, that's right. And then the sheet name is my CRM. And then for the range, in order to populate this section on Google Sheets, we'll need to run this portion, and then it should give us some examples here that will be easier to understand. So I'm going to head back over here because we're watching for changes within our automation. So I'm going to delete those and then run this module only. If you run this module only, it's pretty insightful just to you build out those examples when you want to integrate them into separate apps. And it's super easy to do without running the entire sequence down here. So I'm going to head back over here. It's monitoring for changes, and I'm going to hit no show in this box. So once I type that in, as we can see, the value of what I typed in is no show. And then we can also see the row that it is in. So now that we have the row that it's in, we're going to want to assess the range from which we're going to want to get the contents of that row. So we're going to want to pull from A or B4 all the way to, what is that? H4. And so what this is, you can't see all the way at the bottom, but this is the first name, last name, email, the source, open, whether or not I can contact them, or no show. This is the lead status. This is my notes section. A lot of these contact information, they've come in quite recently from my lead magnet, so I have to go ahead and update the notes section, as well as the action items that I have to go ahead and contact that lead, or depending on the status of where they're at, take an action. But going back, so we're going to want to have that range from B4 all the way to H4, and it needs to be a dynamic range. So instead of me typing in B4 to H4, I'm going to type in B. One moment. This has to be run before I display the range. Get range values. Select from list. Me. I got one more time. Okay, so now you can see that all of these values are populated. And so we wanted B4 to H4, but instead of typing that in, I'm going to do B, and then the row start, and then a colon, and then H, row start. So that allows you to get whatever row that it's in. So like, for example, if this prospect was a no-show, it would take F9, or it would take the 9th row, and then implement that within the automation here. So we can go ahead and get those values. I'm going to run this module so that the next module will populate. And the reason that just popped up is because I was running only this module, so it was not getting row 4 from this module. So I just typed that in order for this module to run by itself. All right, next, we're just going to go into Gmail. It will load up here. Okay. And then send an email. Subject of the email, we'll just do missed appointment today. And then for the content, we'll do, hey, Nick. So I'm just pulling the first name from right here. And then I'm just going to copy and paste the body of an email that I have dropped in a template over to the side. But I'll do, sorry, we can't connect during our call today. No worries. I understand life gets busy. You can rebook here. If you're having trouble finding a slot, just email me right back. Thanks, Nick. Cool. So it's going to send out that email. Let's go ahead and put an email address in that's collected from the CRM. Okay. So that should be good there. So now if we run this, we'll just run this whole thing so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to wait for new data. If I use the existing data, nothing's going to happen because we're watching changes, and no changes have happened since the last time that we ran it. So I'm going to do this one. This is my other test one. It sends the same email. So I'll do no show. And then if we go over here, this has been completed. This has been completed. And so has this. So if we run over to my email, it's 12/17, and we get, hey, Nick, sorry we couldn't connect during our call today. No worries. Like, it's busy. You can rebook here. We can update that format a little bit later, but that's the gist of it. Okay. Next up, we're going to want to store that data for a follow-up email. So we're going to type in data store. All right, we can click data store, and then we're going to want to add or replace a record. This is just to create a new record in our data store. And then to edit that data in the data store, there's a module over here called data store. So I will show you that in one moment. Okay, I'm just going to use this data store, and then we're going to do a data store key. This just assigns a key to the variables that you are going to be saving. So we're just going to do data store, and then you go over here. There is a random variable, which is going to assign a random number. So this won't just be data store. It will be like data store 0.556321, because the random function will return a number between 0 and 1. So it's going to be a float integer. Cool. So next, we're going to go to our first name. And this is going to be returned from our Google Sheets. You can go back here. First name, Nick. Last name, Born. And then the email here. And then you can disregard this follow-up time. That was built in when I was building out the data store function over here, which I can just go ahead and show you. 1 second. What this? Okay. So this is what my data store function looks like. You go ahead and edit that. So you're just going to want to copy these fields. This is the name of the field. So first name, text field, last name, text field, email, text field, and that's all you need. You don't need this follow-up time. So just keep those 3 text fields, and then it'll go ahead and populate within your automation. All right, so that's all you need. So once you run this, it'll go ahead, scan through your CRM, look through who is a no-show. For the no-shows, it will send them an email prompting them to rebook, and it will then store all of that information within the data store function. So we can go ahead and run this. Right before we run this, I'm just going to delete these 2. Oops. And then now we can run this, wait for new data. Now it's searching. And then I'm going to type in no-show. This will initiate the automation. And now if we head over to the data stores and hit browse, you can see that this is the key that I created. So data store 0.1222, whatever. First name, Nick, last name, Cornelius, and then it saved the email. Again, disregard the follow-up time. So now that it's stored, we can go ahead and build our second portion of the automation. So the initial email is sent, and now we need to build out the second portion where the second email is sent. So I'm going to head over, I'm going to open up a new scenario. And then for this one, we're going to start off with the data store. As soon as it loads. Cool. And this time we are going to, oops, not count records. We're going to search records. So then we can click the data store that we created, email follow-up. We don't need a filter here, but we do want this to run once a week. So your email is sent, and then you want to wait for a certain time during the week in order to send that follow-up email, but only if they respond or only if they book a call will they not receive a follow-up email. If they still are a no-show, then they will receive that follow-up email. So we'll go ahead, instead of at regular intervals, we'll do specific dates. Sorry. Specific days of the week. And then because people probably aren't going to be booking calls on a Sunday, I'm just going to choose Sunday at 12:24 p.m. Sure. Cool. So this is going to run once a week, and this is going to send the follow-up email to your no-show, who you've already sent an email to. So now that it's pulled up that data, we're going to go back into our CRM and cross-reference our CRM just to make sure that they are still a no-show. So we're going to do Sheets again. Okay, and then we're going to search rows. Choose the CRM spreadsheet and then the CRM sheet. And then for the filter, we're going to want to compare. Let's see over here. Oh. So we're going to want to compare the first name to the first name from the data store and the last name to the last name from the data store. So in this case, the automation says NIM, but NIM is just the first name of that last client that I worked with. Well, not that I worked, the last prospect. NIM is the name of the last prospect that has been entered into my CRM. So, let's delete this. Let's run this real quick, just so we can get the data to populate. Okay, we're going to search rows. Okay, so NIM equal to first name. Great. We're going to add another rule here that the last name is equal to the last name from the data store. And then we can go ahead and hit OK. And so what that's going to do is it's going to search for a specific row that has both the first name and the last name in your CRM. And then it's going to get that data from that row so you can send an email to them. So next, we're going to want to use the router tool within make.com. Love if this could load. Let's see. Well, we'll just do this for now. We're just going to type in Gmail. Doesn't want to load. And then send an email. And then we're going to do our router tool here. So add a router. And a router lets you basically perform multiple tasks and then filter out what tasks are performed at what time. So basically, if they're still a no-show, we're going to send them another email. If they're not a no-show, we're not going to send them an email, and we're going to delete the information from the data store. So to start building it out, we'll do our second email first. The subject of this one, we could just do Biz Automations Follow-up. And then just copying and pasting the content. We'll do hey, and then the name from the data store. So hey, Nick. And then we'll just do, just wanted to follow up on my previous email to ensure you're able to find a time slot that works. Thanks. All right. So once, you got to add a recipient. Cool. Go ahead and we'll run that one after. And then lastly, delete the data store, delete a record, email follow-up, and then the key, we can just pull that key from the data store over here. And then we'll do the same thing right here. Delete the record. And then grab that key from the data store. Cool. Now, so if we were to run this right now, both this and this would both run at the same time because we don't have any filters set up. So to set up a filter, you can click on this little wrench for each of the routes. And so you can click set up a filter. And then for the label, we'll call it still no show, meaning they still haven't showed up to the meeting or responded to an email. And then for the condition, we're going to do open. And what open is, this is essentially just the column F. So we go back over here, column F, that's going to be our lead status. So if our lead status is equal to no show, then the email will be sent over and then the data store will be deleted. If the lead status, we'll do, just call it booked call. So if the lead status or that is not equal to no show, then it's going to just delete that data store and nothing is going to happen. And so we have that data store created. Let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. It should send over an email because currently I'm still marked as a no-show. So let's go ahead and run this. Pulls from the data store, search the sheet. Yep, sent over an email and then deleted the record. So if we look at my email, yep, Biz Automations follow-up, we just got it. And then as far as the data store, we reload this page. We can see that data store has been deleted. So we can go ahead and run this. Wait for new data. I still have no show here, so I'm going to do the second example. Could enter. Got it. Missed appointment today. Got that email. We can go to our second automation. Oh, and then we should be able to see that info within our data store. Yep, Nick 2, Corn 2. Looks good. And then we can go ahead and run this. Pulls from the data store, sends us an email, looks good. Okay, so this doesn't just work for one email at a time, it'll work for two. So if I were to delete both of these, okay, the last one was sent at 12:32, just for reference. If I were to delete both of these and then run this automation twice, so let's wait for new data. And then we'll run this one first. And then now we'll do it again. Wait for new data. Run this 1 second. So now both of those are going to be stored in the data store. So we reload this page. Yep, we should see 2 items within the data store. And each one has a unique ID associated with it. And so when we run this, so because this is running once a week, if I were to set this to 12:35, this would run both of them, but I'll just go ahead and run it manually. And as we can see, 1 action was performed here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here, meaning that it has performed the automation twice. So if we go to our data store, it should be empty. And then I should receive 2 new emails. We just saw that update. And then, yep, our last email was at 32. We just got 2 missed appointment emails, and then we got 2 follow-up emails. So yeah, essentially what you would do from here is you would just turn on this automation, and then anytime you have a no-show, you can go ahead and type in no-show to your lead status. Again, if you have a CRM and there's just like a drop-down where you can choose no-show, you can totally do that. You can use other CRMs like Salesforce or like Close.io, and it'll be no problem. This is just what I use because it's cheap and it's super easy. And I already have all of my leads in this Google Sheet. So, it's most optimal for me. But yeah, if you need any sort of automation set up for your business, feel free to hit me up. Shoot me an email. You obviously have my email now that we've gone through this automation, nick@nickcornelius.com, or go ahead and hit the link in my bio and book a call with me, and we'll chat soon.